what? It's time to jingle all the way to the craft room. Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Courtney. If you're coming back, welcome back Creative Club members. I'm so happy that you are here. Today is the annual Christmas in July collaboration put on by my good friend Shannon over at the Cozy Christmas Cottage. She's gathered up a ton of wonderful creators and we are all going to give you a little bit of inspiration and some Christmas cheer. You can check out the playlist down below in the description box. So without further ado, let's get crafting. For this project, I will be making over this Christmas star sign that I found at Goodwill. I started by taking the price tag off, and then that tiger head was a vinyl sticker, so I did go ahead and take that off. Then I grabbed my sanding block and gave it a light sanding on the front. Wasn't too concerned about the florals at the bottom. I'm going to get those removed later on. And then I grabbed some Waverly chalk paint in the color plaster, and I painted the star full coverage with that paint. With the star all painted, I measured the inside of it so I knew how much space I had, and then I picked an image in Cricut Design Space and cut it out on my Cricut. Now, if you do not have a Cricut, no worries. You certainly can print a picture and Mod Podge it on there, or you could even find a picture that you like, trace it, and then either hand paint it with some acrylic paint or even use paint markers to make it easier. So once I had my design cut out, I got it ready to apply to my star. I did decide to rough up the edges of the star with my sanding block, so I did that. And then I applied my decal to the center of the star. Now it's time to get these florals off. They were a little crusty dusty and it wasn't quite the vibe I wanted to go for. I noticed that they were stapled down, so I got my heavy duty staple remover, popped those two pieces of greenery off. And then for the base and the dowel rod that's holding the star up, I really didn't want it to be green. So I started with my sanding block to see what it would do. It wasn't doing much. I took it outside to my Bosch Big Time Sander, and it was coming off, but it was making a mess and it just wasn't what I wanted to do. So I thought, you know what, we're gonna fake it till we make it. So I brought it back inside and grabbed two colors of paint. I grabbed Waverly and the color Truffle, and I painted the base with that full coverage. And then I also painted the dowel rod with that brown paint. Once that was dry, I took the color Fawn, also by Waverly, got some on my brush and pretty much dabbed the paint till it was completely off, and then I went in and just started swiping it across to give it that distressed wood look. It's time to figure out my floral situation. So for this, I dug through my florals, grabbed a couple of things that I had from Dollar Tree that they typically have every year, and also some from Hobby Lobby, which again, they have every single year. So I started with these brown little twig things, and I put those down on the kind of the base, just kind of piecing it, figuring out how much I wanted to use. Those were from Dollar Tree. And then the ice green leaves with the berries, those are from Hobby Lobby. I grabbed a couple of those. And the pine cones, I pulled off 3 of those, and those are from Dollar Tree as well. I know that they have those every single year, so you should be able to find these once they start to put out the Christmas decor. And I just hot glued it, secured it all down kind of to the front of the little dowel rod, and then that was it. This project was completed. Project has so much potential and is very customizable. You want to start with a styrofoam ball. Take a tape measure and you want to measure all the way around the center of your ball, get the circumference, take that number, and you're going to divide that by 8. Once you figure out what that measurement is, taking your styrofoam ball, you're going to make marks all along the center with those measurements. So for me, it was about 1 inch per mark. So I went all the way around, marking the center of my ball with just a regular old pin at 1 inch. Once you have your marks, you want to grab your styrofoam ball, start with the first mark, have it kind of dead center facing you, and you're just going to draw a straight line from the top all the way to the bottom. Then turn it to where that little mark is facing you, and as you can see, these are actually straight lines, but I'm starting at the top of the ball and I'm going down. So the shape is kind of like I don't know, a leaf maybe, where it's kind of skinnier at the top, it gets fatter in the middle, and then it goes pointy again. And so after I drew all of my lines, I ended up with 8 segments on my ball. Your next step is to grab some type of hobby knife, X-Acto knife, whatever you've got, and you want to score the lines that you made on this ball. Now you do want to go in, not super deep, but you do want to go in enough that you can kind of see a divot in the ball. Then take another tool. I'm just using my Cricut spatula, and this is where you're kind of going to go along that line that you just scored and kind of make that little groove. You could also use the tip of a butter knife. That would work as well. And once you do that, it kind of looks like this. It looks a little janky, but you're not going to notice it. So do that for all of the lines on the ball. Okay, now I hope you guys are still with me. So now what we need to do is we need to make a template. Now I'm using a piece of vellum just to make my life easier. You definitely could do this just with a regular piece of paper. You just kind of need to feel where the grooves are. It's just a rough kind of shape of it. So I'm going to trace one of my grooves. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Once I get that traced, then what we need to do is we will need to make it a little bit bigger, because what we're making is a template that we can use to cut out our fabric pieces. So I've got the original size, and what you want to do is add about 1/2 inch all the way around. So I took my measuring tape and I just marked a couple of places where it's 1/2 inch, and then again I just roughly connected the dots, and now I'm ended up with this shape, and I'm going to cut it out. My template is cut out and ready to go. Now you want to grab some fabric. I grabbed 4 different red and white fabrics that I had in my stash. They all came from Hobby Lobby. That's pretty much 99% of the time where I get my fabric. And I started by needing to cut 2, I guess, pieces from each piece of fabric. So I ended up with a total of 8 pieces. So to make it easier, I just grabbed my fabric, folded it in half. I pinned my template down, and I will have everything in today's video that I'm using linked down below in the description box. If you don't see it, please drop me a comment, but I will definitely have everything I'm using in case you're interested in that. And once I got it pinned, I was able to cut those out until I ended up with 8 pieces of fabric. Here comes the fun part. Now you just have to trust the process here. So what you're going to do is start by grabbing your pieces of fabric. You're going to need some pins. You want to pin it to the top of your ball and the bottom. Each piece kind of loosely over the segment. They're going to overlap. As you can see, my piece is bigger, it's overlapping, but do not worry about that. I'm telling you, just trust the process. So you're going to go all the way around the circle, pinning your pieces over just kind of overlapping them and pinning them. Once you get that done, then this is the fun part and the kind of weird part where it just all comes into play. You want to grab whatever you use to kind of make your, I guess, grooves on your ball bigger. So for me, it was my Cricut spatula, but again, you could use a butter knife, and you're just going to start pushing on those little grooves. You're going to keep pushing, and it's just like the fabric. It will just keep pushing in there. It's like, I don't know. It was kind of weird while I was doing it. I was like, how could this all possibly fit in these grooves? But it did. So I started by I didn't worry about the complete top or the bottom. I just went along and just pushed the fabric into all of those grooves. Now for the top and the bottom, it's really not that hard to finish off. You just want to pull out all of your pins. You're going to do the same thing for both the top of the circle and the bottom, and you just continue to push that fabric in there. Now you may need to trim a little bit of the fabric if you're seeing that it's kind of long and there's a bunch of extra fabric. So I did trim a little bit, but you just keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And then I left one little piece of fabric a little bit longer where I didn't quite push it all the way down, and I just secured that with a little bit of hot glue, and it kept it all nice and tidy. And then I did the same thing on the other side. It really was very, very painless and a lot easier to do than you might think. To wrap up our faux quilted ornament, I grabbed some white rickrack that I got from Hobby Lobby and decided to tack it at the top of the circle at one end and then the bottom. And I'm just putting it kind of where the grooves are just to kind of give it a more finished look. But honestly, it doesn't look bad. I don't feel like you have to really cover those up if you don't want to. Once that was done, I grabbed some ribbon and tied a bow. And then for the hanger, I'm using some twine that I just tied in a loop. And to get that attached, I just use hot glue to put that at the top. And then the bow, I wanted to finish it off with a little gingerbread embellishment guy. And so I glued that to the center. and then glued that right on top of my little hanger, and now my ornament is ready to go. I cannot wait to put it on my gingerbread tree when I get out all my Christmas decor. I grabbed one of these wooden canvases from Dollar Tree for this project. So to start, I took the canvas and I taped off the edges because I am planning to stain those, and I am a messy painter. And the inside of the wooden canvas, I took Waverly chalk paint in the color plaster, and I painted the inside and made sure that it was full coverage. Once that was painted and it was dried, I thought I could be brave, and so I started to use some brown wax and stain the frame portion of this. And then I realized, nope, I'm going to be dripping it. So I painted off the inside and ended up going in and just doing one side at a time with the brown wax, and then taking a baby wipe and going back and wiping off the excess wax. To finish this off, I am turning this into an envelope, and it's actually going to be a gift that I'm going to gift one of my neighbors. So I went on a Cricut Design Space and found several images that I could piece together, kind of the front of an envelope. I cut those out on my Cricut, and then I applied them all to the front. Now, again, if you do not have a Cricut, you certainly, a Hobby Lobby sticker collection is phenomenal. And especially when they have a lot of Christmas stickers out, you definitely could pull this together using stickers from craft stores. You could use stencils for this as well. So don't feel like that you have to have a Cricut to do this. You could also print out your design and just stick it inside there on cardstock. You could do that as well. So lots of options for you. But once I got it all put on there, then I'm just going to kind of tuck this away with my gifts that are ready to go. And now I've got a gift that I am happy to give. Here's a DIY gift idea that will cost you $2.50. Start with this printable. It's linked down below. It says, since November, you've been shopping, barely sleeping, barely stopping. Now it's late. You're in a scrape. Out of paper, out of tape. Hope this wrap helps save the day because Santa Claus is on his way. Merry Christmas. And then there's a place that says love, and you can write your name. So what I did is I printed this out on cardstock and then trimmed it down with my paper cutter. I then took an 1/8 inch hole punch and punched a hole in it. You want to go to Dollar Tree, grab yourself a roll of wrapping paper and a thing of Scotch tape. Then taking some baker's twine, you want to feed that twine through your tag and through the Scotch tape. Tie it around your wrapping paper roll, and then on the back side, make sure you secure it with a little bit of Scotch tape so that it doesn't slide up and down your roll. Then add a bow to it, which they could easily reuse if they are using this to help with all those last minute gift wrapping. And voila, you've got yourself a $2.50 gift. This is just a quick and easy gift that you could give to neighbors, you could give to coworkers, you could add some baked goods with it, maybe some chocolate, a coffee gift card. So you could definitely kind of fluff up this gift if you want to, but it's a very cost-effective gift to give. Here is another affordable DIY gift idea. You want to start with this printable. It is linked down below in the description box. It says, just settle down for a long winter's nap. I printed it out on cardstock and then trimmed it up on my paper trimmer. From there, I have this blanket that I picked up from Walmart. Walmart is a great place to get affordable throws at Christmas time. It was $8. I took some ribbon and wrapped it around my blanket. Using a little hot glue, I secured it, making sure that I kind of held the ribbon up till it dried so that it wouldn't get on my blanket. Then I flipped that over and I grabbed my tack. I wanted the edges to be a little wavy, so I used my little special paper cutter thing with all these different little blades you can put on it, and trimmed the edges just to kind of give it a little something extra so it wasn't just a straight edge. And then taking some double-sided tape, I just put that on the back of the card and stuck it on there, and bam. You could give this just as is or even fluff it up with maybe some hot cocoa or even some s'more stuff. Had to include this DIY in my video. If you're one of my subscribers or already, you know about the kindness rocks. I actually did a video last week where I shared about kindness rocks, and the timing of that video just worked out because we had Hurricane Beryl come through. And the point of these kindness rocks are you take river rocks, you put designs on them, you can put words of affirmation, you just want to put some type of colorful something on there, and then you hide them around your community. And the hope is that someone will see it, it'll pick it up, and it will just bring a smile to their day. I'm all about spreading kindness, especially at Christmas time. I have this special mystery box where we do random acts of kindness. So I just felt like, you know what, I might as well get a jump start on some Christmas rocks. So for this project, if you're not familiar with it, you need river rocks. I usually just buy mine in bulk on Amazon. Super easy to do. And then paint markers. You can use regular acrylic paints if you want to. I like the Thule markers. I feel like they work really, really well on the rocks. And then you're going to need a sealer. I like to use Glossy Finish Rust-Oleum Spray Sealer, and that's it. You just make the rocks. These are perfect for any age group to do. If you want to check out my video from last week, like I said, I'll have it linked down below. I kind of took you through in the video and showed you all the different places I hid it in my community to give you some ideas of good places to hide them. But this is a great way to add to your random act of kindness that you might want to do during the month of December. That wraps up my Christmas and July DIYs. Let me know down below which one of these projects was your favorite. Also, let me know what type of themes are you hoping to see in my Christmas projects. Do you want traditional? Do you want rustic, gingerbread theme, movie themed? Let me know down in the comments so that I can try to work your ideas into my projects. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Here are some more videos you might want to check out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!